Right, welcome to the coffee break. This is the episode number 84. Sorry, 94, almost 100. Thank you very much for joining today. As usual, very open space. Any questions or topics or projects that you're working on or questions that you may have, feel free to open your camera, microphone. Anything interesting going on? We are just a couple weeks away from DevCon, so hope some of you guys are going to Germany. No, sorry. Yeah, the first one is Boston and then Germany. But Germany is the biggest one. It's almost there. And what else? What's going on? Any questions or topics to bring up? Let me open up the... What is the...
Hey, Gusto, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Jonathan.
Yes. Hi. It's always at this time that I'm out every Wednesday, every week actually, but the coffee break is every 2 weeks. Anyway, I was wondering because I just did a simple query of project users of the XCIV API, and I realized that I need to do pagination, and I was wondering, and since it's an admin thing, I've been doing it with a Python script, but I was wondering if there's a sample of how you deal with pagination. Sorry about the noise here.
Let me get this right then. So you are on ACC, account admin. You want to get the users of the account and you want to do pagination?
Actually, I'm getting the users per project because we want to make sure that we have the right users on each project. We look at, so I'm using the project users endpoint. And from what I understand, the limit is 200. So
yeah.
So some projects we have more users than that, and
yeah. So so on those APIs, the limit it's how many records you get per page, right? So in this case, you get 200 per page. The offset is what you use for the next page, right? So increase the offset. So let's say you do page, you say get users, right? With limit 200, and then you call it again with limit 200, but offset 200. Now you're starting on the 200, going to the next page.
Okay, and then how do I know that I've reached the end?
I believe that if you get any page that is less than 200, you are on that, you reach the limit.
No, but let's say I have 500 users, so I'm doing first page with if I wanted to write a loop, then I think something in the response needs to tell me that I've what the total number of users is, so I can calculate my how many rounds, how many queries I need to do, or the other thing is that every response will have how far am I from the limits or something along these lines.
So typically when you do pagination, and that's not only us, right? Most of the queries on APIs, but also if you try other APIs, right? The API doesn't actually know how many records until you go to that page, right? And in most cases, those requests are stateless, meaning that you make a call, it will not keep any state, and then you go to the next call, right? So what it means is that when you say get users, the system will always rerun the query for you. So the only thing that you do is say, instead of starting on the first record, go all the way to that page, to the offset, right? From the start. So what I'm telling you is that the system doesn't know how many users will be there until it completes the list or the query, right? So that's why you have to make another query and see if that additional query has less than or has an indication that there's another page or not. So some of the APIs that are, I would say, a bit old, right? The APIs released a long time ago. We didn't have this standard on how to do pagination. The new APIs, things that were releasing more recently. Let me give you an example here, like issues, right? Get issues. You see that right now we have a different approach, which is industry standard instead. Yeah, so he is also using, because this is old as well, right? I think so. Yeah. Anyway, we're now using this page index, so it tells you which page you are, right? Now, for project users, what you do is, as I mentioned, you get page one, and if you get less than 200, which is your limit, you go to the next page. That next page should give you 200 or less, right? So in the case that you mentioned, 500, you make 200, 200, and then the next one will be 100, and that you know that you reach the limit because it's less than 200. It's not a problem if you call the page with an offset. Let's say if you by mistake set offset to 1,000, it will just return you an empty list, right? So not a problem. So always say offset, and then if the amount of records you get is less than the limit, then you are done with the list.
Yeah,
The
I
response
see
has
what
the
you're
next
saying.
URL property, and you can look at for.
Which one?
The response has a next URL property.
Okay.
So
Okay.
then
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
see the
No.
responses.
But that doesn't work. Yeah. Mhm.
But basically, what you're suggesting, the kind of standard way
Oh yeah,
is that
it is written.
that I query with an offset, and then if I get less, and then just query the length of the results. So if I get less than 200, that means I'm basically on the last stage.
Yeah. So Adam corrected me. You are right, Adam. There is a offset, but there is also total result, right? So in this case, it does know how many records are there, and the next URL should indicate you what to use for the next page.
Fantastic. Okay, I'll look into that.
Yeah. So you don't have to rebuild the URL yourself. You can just use the next URL. I was wondering if that's a new or old, because some of the old APIs don't have this one. But yeah, anyway, but those are like query string parameters here. Yeah. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks.
Yeah. So typically the total results, it's not known from the beginning. In some case they are, but no, yeah, typically. And in this case, always go for the offset. And if the number of files is still increasing, you can always call here. There is no problem saying offset a higher value. The API will just return an empty list. So you know that you don't have anything there. All right. Cool. Yeah. It's interesting that whenever we do a sample, well, at least myself, I have this problem. Right? Whenever I'm doing a sample or a very quick prototype, we have a tendency to forget about pagination just because when you're testing something, it's usually very small number of results. But when you start increasing or going to production, right, you have to always take care of pagination, and all the APIs will do pagination, because there's no other way to get that many records.
Yeah. The issue of using a small data for sample for testing is I've known it too well.
Yeah. So there is another way to, when you're doing development and you want to try with a small data set, right? Set the limit to a very small number, like 5 or something like that. So you have very small pages, and you can test your pagination. Even if you have just 50 records, you can still test you can test pagination with a limit of 10 or 5. Yeah, thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was bringing up about DevCon that I was mentioning, right? So yeah, in 2 weeks, Boston, and then Munich by the end of the month, and we still have Seoul, Tokyo, and China in virtual mode in December. So lots of things going on. Yeah, wait list here means that we don't have any extra spots, but you can always register as a waiting list. And if we have any openings, we'll be calling those people. But and we do have a very hard limit on how many people can come because of the venue, right? So yeah, still there's some time to get to the waiting list. Right. What else is going on?
I have a question or
Yeah.
a case that we are handling right now. So our system has the ability to publish models from Revit and AutoCAD. And when we do that, we have a setting to see in which path we could add that model on BIM or the construction cloud. And normally what we do is that to validate that the folder exists, we start from the root. We try to get the folder, and if it doesn't exist, we create it and go to the next level, and so on. But we hit a particular issue on Construction Cloud because we require a flow where the user does not have the full read access to the entire folder hierarchy. So they don't have, I send the image on the chat. So for example, the user doesn't have access to the project files folder as such, but it does have access to the folders inside that, in Stratus and all that. And the issue that we are having right now is that when we call the get top folders, we are not getting the project folder for the user that doesn't have access to the contents of that folder. So we are not able to validate if the folder exists or not. I made further validation. So in the case that this happened, the thing that the API is doing, it return if we query this with an admin user or something that has access to this and we require the top folders, we get the project files as the top folder. But if the user does not have access to that folder, we get the Stratus folder in the top folders API call, and it has as a parent the project files. So we need to change the code to handle this and try to, instead of trying to go from the root to the top of the folders to validate and create the missing folders. And now we need to find a way to go to the last folder and work from there back because of this issue. Is there any other functionality or way to do that you know of?
So let me get this right. Let me confirm here. You are saying that the user have access to the Stratus folder, but not to the project files. On the user interface, that same user can see the structure Stratus folder, but the project files is grayed out as on the image, right?
Kind of. When we try to publish from Revit, for example, we have an admin. So they just click on publish and they select a project from our system, from Stratus. And that project internally is linked to a project. It can be inside BIM or Construction Cloud.
Yeah. So I'm curious. I haven't seen this one, right? So first, I think we probably need to investigate ourselves to replicate this behavior, right? It's a bit odd that you have access to a subfolder, but not to the top folder on that.
Yes.
Now, typically, when you go to a project, there is a root folder and there is a top folder on that project. You should always be looking to the top folder, not the root folder. The root folder will give you some hidden folders like trash bin or some other stuff. You should be looking to the top folder. So that's the first thing to confirm on your case. If you're looking for the top folder, not root. Now,
yes, we are looking for the top.
Okay, so if you're looking for the top folder, we probably have to investigate this better because I don't know top of my head how to address this, unless Kevin, Michael, Adam have other ideas. We'll probably have to experiment and try this one. Yeah, I see the image. Let me save this.
Yeah, I'm not actually clear what's not working. So yeah, I'm not the person.
Yeah, we'll probably have to on one of our sample files, sample projects, replicate this structure here where we have subfolder with access and top without access. I see the grayed out. So Antonio, right? So would you mind sending this to our APS help and CC me? So my email will be my first dot last name at Autodesk, and I'll be sure to have someone looking at this soon.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah.
Luckily for now, we can make the workaround, but yeah, the code gets really complicated because basically we need to try to find the top folder, the last folder on the hierarchy, and from there work backwards to validate that we have access to any folder on that path, and from there start working forward. So yeah, it's really complicated.
That's not feasible as well, right? Because you are bypassing the permission to then check permissions, which is a bit odd, right?
Yes, exactly. And it's really weird for me, that part, but the client has this necessity because, for example, they have a lot of files and projects that they don't want any user to have access, and that come from the root folder, from project folders. And for the status to work, the only thing that we need is access to that particular folder. So that's causing the issue with our clients, basically. So yeah, I will write a report as detailed as I can, and we can see what can be done from there. Sure.
Perfect. Yeah.
Hey, Antonio, does this only happen on ACC projects?
Yes, I could not find any way to replicate that on BIM. It's only happening on construction.
And so what I guess what our customers are having to do is whenever they need to publish, they have to add all their users as project admins for that project just to be able to push files up.
They need at least the view permission for the project files, but that allow them also to see other files inside that folder. And they don't want that.
Yeah, makes sense. And yeah, so if this is possible through the UI, meaning you can set this set of permissions, right? Miss the project file and give access to a subfolder. The API would need to match that. Now, it's a edge case. So as I said, let me try to reproduce this and see if you can get this to work and reproduce.
Okay, sure. Thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you. As a reminder, I know I mention that every time, but you can always book a time with the team to. So sometimes you can describe the problem by email. Sometimes you can write it down, but sometimes you really just need someone to talk to and explain what's happening, right? So on our website, if you go to events, that is Doctors In, but it's essentially a Calendly APS. And you can get anyone on our team. You see the time zone here to get someone that is convenient for you, and get a time with one of us. Then we can describe. You can describe to us what is the problem, and we can help you get there. So,
could you paste a link to that? That's great.
Yeah. So let me paste here. And APS help is the email alias, right, for support. Write this down as well. But no, as I said, sometimes it's just about talking to someone and explain them. It's hard to explain a few things, right? So always use API Calendly for that. So it's available there. just find the best time zone for you. Some people have different expertise, so if you may read here what they are very good at, and just in case you're looking for something that is very specific, and maybe someone with better experience there. Cool. All right. Thanks, Antonio. Thanks, Sam. What else? I think we did talk about, so last coffee break I was not here, but I also have Kevin here, so I'll bring him to the spot. So this is a new beta that is available now on APS, a service on Graph Engine. So Kevin, you know all about it.
Yeah, this is a new service. It's really the first one that's coming purely from the media and entertainment side. Basically, this first round of the Graph Engine will be able to run Bifrost graphs in the cloud, so you can offload that heavy compute that would normally be done locally to the cloud service.
Or automate as well, right?
Yeah, automation, all that is great. The tricky part is, Bifrost is kind of a subcomponent of Maya, so that's where the functionality will stem from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard that those processes in local desktop will run like hours or days, and on the cloud will be similar, right? But you can always offload that and run multiple options. You can run like 100 options and to see which one best fit for you. Did I get this right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Bifrost user interface to build the graphs are within Maya. So, before this cloud service, you basically had to run it within Maya, and it would block Maya during that execution. So with this, you can now offload that execution. The Maya team's also working on a plugin that will allow you to, as a user, queue it directly to the same service.
Oh, so this is now in beta, meaning that not ready for production. But you can try, you can experiment with that. Provide feedback if you see anything that is missing or should be improved or not working well. Just submit to us. We have a sample here, and there is one more sample coming up in Python. And yeah, I mean, maybe I'm not sure if people here use it, but maybe outside, if you have any other people on your company using Maya, so that's the chance to start using APS. Thanks, Cap.
Yeah.
Any questions, topics, projects?
Come on, there must be some tandem update or something.
Say again?
There must be some tandem update, right, Michael?
Oh yeah, there's always this.
Always tandem updates. Tandem Connect is in beta.
Oh yeah.
Still polishing a few things though before we can kind of start. I'm not going to be showing anything today. DevCon definitely, but not before that.
Yeah. So yeah, one more reason to attend DevCon, right? And I'm trying to get the blog on the Tandem Connect. Where is that one? You did have one a while back, right? No, Data API.
Yeah, nothing yet announced about Tandem Connect, but yes, it's definitely.
No, yeah, but that's
gonna be
the
fun.
Tandem data. What is this one? Data API.
Yeah. No, we've got some stuff coming, but not going to let the cat out of the bag.
Oh yeah. What about this here? Tandem data. What is that one?
So this is for provisioning IoT sensors, and once you've provisioned your IoT sensors, you want to add those streams of data from your IoT sensors into Tandem. And so this API blog post talks about the 3 different ways you can set that up and get that data streaming into your digital twin.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone using Tandem or I know deploying that with customers here? I'm curious, how is the adoption going of our Tandem within our people that come here? No one yet?
Yeah, it's going. It's going.
No,
It's
I
interesting.
mean people here on this call, customers, not us.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool. It's still taking some time, but yeah, there is a lot of good stuff there. The main one is how the Tandem optimize viewer and data inside, right? So curious to see whenever you start using it, give us some feedback as well. It will be interesting to hear about your projects.
Yeah, I think one of the exciting things I'm seeing with Tandem Connect that's coming is essentially Autodesk is going to host basically a small Lambda function system similar to AWS Lambda based on Node.js. And so you'd be able to use a simple node graph system to create a Lambda function for all of your I/O operations. So yeah, I won't go into the details right now, but
And you can learn all about it on DevCon, Boston, and then
you
Munich,
can.
right?
Yeah, there's a talk. There's a talk that Peter and I are doing, and Jaime and I are doing called low code, no code solutions. And we talk all about Tandem Connect as well as a couple of other ones. And there's also a Tandem Connect talk as well, which covers this stuff in detail.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. All right. Any last comments, questions? We're almost on time.
Okay, so can you talk a little bit about server-side FFA tokens yet? What's coming?
No, not
Okay.
yet.
Okay.
All right. With that, let me move here. Thank you very much for joining today. Hope you had had a good time. Antonio, I'll be waiting for your message, but we'll definitely start looking into it. And as soon as you drop us an email, we get there. Thanks for the questions, Jonathan. And see you all in 2 weeks, same time. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Thanks.